Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Barnsley 0, Chelsea 1, Chelsea through to the last 8 of the FA Cup once again. I feel that's the most exciting part of tonight. I mean, that game was absolutely dire from a Chelsea perspective. I think it really was. Apart from one moment, which was the goal, and apart from some performances like Tammy Abraham and Billy Gilmore, and also some credit for Kepa Arrizabalaga for a clean sheet. Other than that, I mean, it really was underwhelming. It truly was. And I think that's the frustrating thing for me, because I felt there were so many players tonight, the likes of Hakim Ziyech, the likes of Christian Pulisic, even to an extent Kurt Zuma as well in defence, and other players too, who I felt could have made more of an impact tonight to impress Thomas Tuchel to then get into the first team in the Premier League. I don't think they took their opportunity. I think I'm coming away from 2 games now in Yorkshire that Chelsea have travelled to, and one with sort of a similar feeling of, you know, Chelsea have struggled to win games when we haven't been playing well. And I think that's the biggest thing I can take away. Now, this was against Championship opposition. Championship opposition we beat convincingly 6-0 earlier in the season. They were very well organised. I feel Valérien Ismaël, in terms of the way he set up the team, that pressed, it was so coordinated. It was the battle in the first half of the 3-4-3s. And to be honest, Barnsley were much more coherent in their press. They were hunting in packs. They were very confident to have that high line. And Chelsea didn't have the intelligence or guile in that first half to get the ball through Barnsley. And to be honest, with the exception of 1 or 2 opportunities, and at least the goal in the end was the only time Chelsea did that. And I felt with the quality we actually had on the pitch, that was very disappointing. I think it said a lot that by half time Tuchel was forced to make 2 changes and go from a back 3 to a back 4, go 4-3-3. At times it did look like a 4-2-3-1, but for me, consistently in the second half it was more of a 4-3-3. So the first time we saw a 4-back system, and I felt in that first half, and I said this in my preview, that I just felt if there was one time to go to a 4 at the back, I felt this was the game. And I think as that first half was progressing, I think once I look at the full 90, I think Chelsea were just quite poor tonight. A lot of players were underwhelming tonight against Championship opposition. But I felt we weren't just pressing the ball well enough. We weren't keeping a hold of the ball. A lot of the play in that first half was being done in Chelsea's own half rather than progressing it up the pitch. I felt players like Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, Callum Brittain, who finally got going in the second half a little bit there, were really underwhelming in possession. I don't think they made smart decisions on and off the ball, and I think that really halted us in terms of creating consistent opportunities. And I felt Barnsley were very impressive in the way they pressed us up, but a quality of player we do have in this team, in this starting 11, Chelsea should have been doing more tonight. But luckily we got away with it, unlike we did in 2008. Let's take a look at that starting 11, because I did predict a 4 at the back. I got that wrong. He stuck with the 3-4-3 system. Emerson playing at left centre back with Christensen and Zuma. Christensen, though, not playing as the central defender in that sort of the sweeper in that back 3. He was actually on the right side with Kurt Zuma playing centrally. It was a bit interesting. Marcus Alonso at left wing back. Billy Gilmore and N'Golo Kante as a double 6. Callum Brittain, who I didn't expect to start this game, started at right wing back once again. And Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic as those roaming 10s behind Tammy Abraham, who came back into the side and started his first game since Burnley, wasn't it, 2 weeks ago, where he was hooked at 45 minutes gone. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't impressed at all by the way we created chances in that first half. I felt that we were lacking someone maybe in that midfield, and I think that's why Tuchel eventually went to the 4-3-3 to try and get someone else in midfield, because we were really lacking that. And in terms of the width of our play, in terms of progressing the ball, getting past that Barnsley high line, I mean, that was this disappointing thing when you've got players like Callum Brittain, when you've got Christian Pulisic, when you've got the pace of Tammy Abraham. I really expect Chelsea to do better. And in terms of that first half, I'm looking at players from deep to create opportunities. I don't think Kante was good in passing tonight. Even simple passes a few times, he got that wrong. I wasn't too impressed by his performance tonight. I felt from deep as well, from the centre backs, especially Christensen. Now, a lot of people laud Christensen's passing, but I just don't think it's that impressive. I feel another game tonight where in that first half he could have been doing a lot more to float passes over the high Barnsley defence into the likes of Christian Pulisic. Now, there was a few occasions where we did that, and Christian Pulisic, who I felt was really underwhelming tonight, another player for me who I want to get into Christian Pulisic, because for me, I don't know if it's that injury he got at the back end of last season is mentally halting him at the moment. The way he got that injury, if you remember, against Arsenal in the FA Cup final, where he was sprinting and, done his hamstring. I don't know if that's playing playing on his mind, but he's nowhere near the incredible player he was at the back end of last year. And it's in moments like this where I expect him to be doing a lot more, to be influencing the game, making those off the ball runs, especially against a team who are actually giving Chelsea and players like Christian Pulisic the time to make runs in behind, and he wasn't taking those opportunities. Really disappointed with Christian Pulisic, and he can't really complain if he's not in the starting 11 moving forward. You know, Timo Werner's doing more, Mason Mount. I mean, Mason Mount not in the squad tonight, and you absolutely noticed it. I say this time and again, when Mason is not in this team, the energy levels, the creativity, the guile in our play, the invention in our play just goes massively down, and you saw that once again tonight. So Mason Mount deservedly getting a rest, but you know, it wasn't in terms of Chelsea strolling through this game. Reece James comes off the bench as well. I felt Billy Gilmour was the most impressive player in that first half for me. I just love watching Billy do everything really, in terms of the way he marshals things, in terms of the way he's constantly conducting play, shouting at other players, being a very vocal presence on the pitch. I don't feel that's something you can coach in a player. I just think that's naturally there. And given his leadership sort of role, or at least the way he's being so vocal on the pitch at this age and trying to construct play, always showing for the ball, I think it just shows you the levels this guy could get to. So Billy, in what was a challenging night, and it was no surprise to me, he had a hand eventually in the winning goal for Chelsea. I also want to give some credit to Kepa Arrizabalaga, who I know gets tons of stick and you know, criticism, and I think rightly so, given his performances last season and even this season. You know, you think about the last round, but he made up for it tonight. You know, made a big save in the first half. He made a big save actually against Luton in the second half as well, and he made a big one early on tonight to help Chelsea stay level, because there were many warning signs in the game. And I felt Kepa as well in terms of aerially, you know, it's not his strongest aspect, and that's my concern with him. I don't feel still confident enough for him to be in goal regularly for Chelsea, because I don't feel Barnsley are putting in those sort of crosses against Edouard Mendy. I think Mendy's obviously much more commanding in the box when a corner comes in, collecting it. But I feel obviously Kepa deserves credit tonight for a clean sheet, which hopefully in a very difficult year for him at Chelsea, hopefully will give him some confidence. He could even play the quarterfinal maybe for Thomas Tuchel. We'll have to wait and see. But good night for Kepa Arrizabalaga, and a good night for Tammy Abraham, who I do think, in what was very difficult to sort of ascertain who was the best player on the pitch for Chelsea, Tammy Abraham, of course, scoring the winner in the end, being in the right place at the right time. Chelsea's top goal scorer this season. He scored 4 in 2 games in the FA Cup now, getting a hat-trick against Luton and scoring the winner tonight. it was a well-worked move, and, you know, once again, Le Cobham bailing Chelsea out. They're always the most reliable players. It's no surprise to me that our younger players are always the ones you can rely on. You know, they're the most consistent. They're the quality players in the final third that get us the goals time and time again. And I'm so happy for Tammy Abraham, because I think he does get disrespected, and he saved the goal as well from a corner late on to help us get away from there with the victory. And you can't not like Tammy Abraham. You know, his enthusiasm, his work rate, the fact he's not always first choice for Chelsea, as has been seen this season, but also recently for Thomas Tuchel, but he's still scoring goals regularly. I think he deserves so much more respect, and I think given his age still and the goal return he has for Chelsea FC, I think it says a lot about his quality. So Tammy Abraham deserving credit tonight. That goal helping Chelsea get through. You know, I don't feel players like Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic, or even N'Golo Kante did enough for me to justify them being in the next starting 11 against Newcastle. I'd be much happy to see Jorginho and Kovacic, who've been playing well recently in the Premier League for Chelsea. Of course, Mason Mount, Timo Werner, sort of a more regular 11. I am more intrigued to see what he does in the central striking role. Thomas Tuchel now with Tammy Abraham scoring that goal. I wouldn't be too fast if Tammy Abraham starts that game, because looking at Olivier Giroud's performance against Sheffield United, where he was eventually hooked, I think he was the first sub on Sunday, I don't think he impressed. So I'd like to see Tammy Abraham actually start that game now, because I think he's probably earned his start off the back of tonight's winning goal. Let me know your opinions on that. I mean, in terms of highlights for Chelsea to speak about and to speak about in a review, very difficult. I do also want to mention, and I don't want to forget this before I finish recording this video, a massive thank you for getting this channel to 20k subs. In what was quite a forgettable game for Chelsea FC, it was a memorable day for me personally on this channel. 20k subs, absolutely amazing to hit that landmark. Thank you guys so much for your support. All the new subscribers who've come onto the channel recently and are supporting the content, my long-term subs too, it really means the world to me. Liking, commenting, sharing your thoughts about the videos and Chelsea and what I have to say, and giving your thoughts respectfully in the comments, it really means the world to me. Sharing the videos as well. We're going to keep on getting stronger, keep on going, more content for you guys. And for those who haven't subbed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads on this channel. Hit that like button. Also follow me on Twitter at SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.